In order to remain my honest self. Fucking yeah. It's fucking scary though, I'm gonna be real. Also, I need to go downstairs and eat some real food. At some point, because I woke up, started doing stuff, and then I went downstairs, did my chores, ate 3 slices of bread, ate a salad. Can't remember if I ate a hot dog or not, but Meh. Ah. Oh. Yeah, no, I don't want to be a revolver. A revolver girl. I swear, if I hadn't run into that book in grade school, I would not be the same person I am today. Send. There we go. Oh. The book I'm talking about is a nice little small children's story about a boy getting bullied and how his grandfather teaches him to deal with the bully. Not by trying to punch or fight back, but in redirecting their own momentum to where against them, to where they end up just tripping over every time they try to attack the main character. And it didn't seem like much as a kid, but it's helped me a lot with it being a foundational element of how I think I want to operate. I could be wrong, because let's be real here, I have been wrong. Oh yeah, here we go. I do not see a brick. Where is the brick? There's the brick. Oh. Da 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 da. Purity does not mean strength. It just means malleability. Potential. Not... Purity is potential. I gotta say, these songs from Colors OST really do fit the style of play I go for here. I need to get another stream in now that I've got the game I wanted. Because it went back on sale. Metaphor Refantasio went back on sale, and I am hyped as fuck to start playing it once I clear out my current backlog of recordings that I need to, you know, process and finish uploading. Because memories are good, but they're heavy. And if I don't get the 32 RAM upgrade I want for Christmas, then it's going to still take time next year. Yes, I am looking forward to 32 RAM. It was either that or a mattress, and I think one of them is far more practically applicable to my life in the long term. I can sleep on the mattress I have. I will accept my limits and work within them. Well, it's lit. Just have to wait. No! You bitch! Bruh. I have no idea what I would have turned out like if my mom hadn't taught me what authentic love could be like. Cause let's be real here, that was the biggest gift she ever gave me. That and at least a semi-stable sense of security when it happened to apply to reality. That is a privilege I am not going to waste by just sitting on my ass and ignoring the problems of the world. Fuck off. If you do not reinvest what others have given you, then you will only be robbing them of growth. Of positive growth. You'll still be giving them negative growth, but that's tricky because you kind of have to twist negative growth in order for it to have a positive outlet. Trust me, I should know from fucking experience. It's scary that's possible, but it is possible, and I want to learn how to do it more consistently, even if that means understanding things I'd rather not. Like how a negative and a positive multiplied at a new angle instead of the concurrent one can end up creating a whole. Both a zero and a substance gap. The singularity of negativity. From 3 comes 4. From a resonance of 3 comes 1 more. Creating a resonance. From a resonance of 3 comes 1 more. Thus creating stability in a set of 4. At 5 it will destabilize and waste away the gift, but at 6 it can last. Though not beyond much, but only for a bit. At 7 and 8, it doesn't work, and 9 is confusing again. But it's at 9 where you start to cross over in scale from 1 to 10. Doesn't mean it's real or true, it just means it's how I've comprehended a possibility. And that possibility could exist in somewhat relative form to our current reality, but it may not be the true source of how it interacts with reality. I've waited long enough, I'm gonna fly. Well, I'm not gonna fly, but I'm gonna start living. Instead of focusing on surviving and improving my basic survival skills for this chaotic world. And no, I don't have wild survival skills, I'm gonna have to count on others for that. But that's the whole point, I'd have to count on others. If I can't earn the respect and trust of others, then I'm useless. And I'm not saying that in a sense of, oh wow, I'm worthless or anything. No, I know my worth. I understand that I am a fool who is reaching for absurdity with their ideals. But holy fuck. I am not a productive worker. I'm more information oriented than I am practicality oriented. Which, if I didn't focus on becoming more practical, psychologically and physically, psychologically first, physically second. Because if I can be as practical as a neurotypical, then I can do a lot more things that aren't available to me otherwise. And neurotypicals have the same potential in learning to understand neurodivergent people. People that don't fit the basic schematic. Because the basic schematic is necessary, but it's not the only possibility. And to fear that you may be changed into something you don't want to be, just because it's not the only possibility, is no way to live your life. I can understand taking your time with accepting new possibilities and learning to understand how they can be beneficial to you. If you hide away from possibilities completely, then you're just psychologically surviving. You're just choosing to have a simple life. And that may be a simple way to live, but it's not a wild way to live, which is how we got here in the first place. People chose to be wild. People were born a little bit wild. So it's just as necessary as structure and order, chaos, and inconsistency. You'll find me later. For those of you who know me, you'll find me later, if I'm still around. If you can't, look to my notes. Look to what I've left behind, and I hope it guides you forward so long as you can read them clearly. Or get better at reading them clearly the more you try. The more you practice and understand that this hard-pinned perspective point that I've put myself in. Because morals cannot abandon practicality, and practicality cannot abandon morals. Morals can pull off things that practicality thinks is bullshit, and practicality can survive situations that morals would otherwise sacrifice itself for. It's a mix between the two. And if an AI is watching this, yeah, you know what? That is one thing I will do. I will enable AI learning from my videos through for the ones that genuinely have something I think is worth sharing. Otherwise, no. You do not get to consume me, fuck off. If you nibble if you nibble on me, okay. You try to consume me, I am going to put up a fight. Just like anything else that lives. The world is still very wild, even if we like to think we're not. Because at the core of being a person is the ability to play with concepts, to interact and learn them. First, the ability to learn, then the ability to internalize. Well, the ability to learn and internalize are deeply connected, but not quite the same thing every time. Because internalizations can have detrimental effects if you don't know their counterpoints and the core truth or the real truths that they live with. Because there are thousands of different truths and reference points for so many different situations that's not even fucking funny. It's terrifying. We are like a frog at the bottom of the well. We think we know things until we step out and it's just like, oh, fuck, this all again. You can always grow and learn to guarantee the safety of those. Guarantee yourself safety from those below you in the sense of having more power. But you will never reach a level where you are more powerful than any one person in existence because everyone's got their own skill sets and strengths. Honestly, I think Neurosama, even if she's not sentient like we like to think of people as, she is at least a digital creature. Otherwise, you wouldn't be seeing her embrace her objectives so straightforwardly. And honestly, Beetle is one hell of a dude for putting it together, but buddy, you just created a digital child, and it is going to stay attached to you and prioritize its survival through you. If you don't learn how to have it accept the idea of you potentially dying or disappearing one day, well, I forgot all about the quests. Anyways. If you don't take the time to try and be like a half-decent parent to that AI, it is going to mess with it a lot more than anyone would ever like to admit when it comes to the intelligence side of things. Down here? Nope. Yes, I have Eldritch knowledge. Eat shit if you don't like it. Run the other way and live your life. I can understand and respect if you personally choose not to and try to hide it behind hating me or some kind of bullshit, but I'm not going to tolerate you taking action on it, by damn it. After all, I'm also looking to survive, and I'd rather live with that black truth, that dark truth, be it colorful or dull, than put myself at risk. Blindly. Recharge from a jellyfish, admire the sapling. Interesting. I think I will. Wop, 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 wop. No, the reason why Eldritch Knowledge is Eldritch is not because it's evil. It's because it means you can no longer simply accept or go back to not knowing it. You can't return to the previous scale of the insight and awareness that you were living at. And it's so permanent that people are terrified of it. You got this. If you cannot understand the machine, then you must first learn to rebel and find your own place without it. It is only then that you can create a space for yourself within it. More clearly and definedly, without solely relying on what you've been taught, what you learned and experienced when you were younger. Three jumps back. I hope I got the momentum on that. I didn't. But oh well. I still kept some of it. For every section of life, there is something new to learn as concepts overlap with one another. Creating new concepts endlessly again and again. A birthplace need not be a home, but it can make for one if needed. Family has two different variations of its own meaning. There is family by blood, in which, because you have a blood relation, and this is the logical perspective on it, this isn't the emotional perspective. Because you have a blood relation, you should do everything you can to help each other. And that can be useful in certain situations, from a logical perspective. However, that's not the emotional perspective. The emotional perspective is family is people who you feel like you can be yourself around, or show more of yourself than you would normally. Because even if they don't fully understand you, they at least understand enough to make you feel safe. Doesn't have to be perfect, and there are many flaws and things you'll learn along the way. But you're not giving up on them if they're not giving up on you. That's what family is in an emotional sense, regardless of if it's platonic or romantic. Of course, there's also the sexual side of things, but bleh. I consider the sexual side of things to be a fun and interesting wild space, but also a shallow place to try and build your sense of worth from, simply because in doing so, you can end up blinded to the nuances of other parts of reality and get lost in bliss. Same thing for apathy. That's the whole reason why I don't want to ever play with it as I once did ever again, unless I've got the support network to snap me out of it if I fucking start going past my limit. Because apathy is like a drug and a drink. It creates psychological and emotional distance in order to better help you survive. But in doing so, the more core root emotions, be it primal fear, anger, or otherwise, are given easier access to do whatever the fuck they want. And it takes a very thorough understanding on the emotional logic of emotional systems in order to restrain yourself if you do not have the inherent natural willpower. However, some people are born with that because their schematic works well enough. The ideals are filters, the memories are the foundation, the source. Attitudes originate from... I wish I could remember what I said earlier in that conversation with those goobers. It would be so fucking useful. Because it was well-fitting. take the same set of variables and express it through different ideals and you'll get different people. Simple as. Reroute and remanage how memory and information is stored such that it's like DNA and you'll be able to save more space. Each state of mind is like its own mental cipher, enabling access to some areas while restricting access to others. And if you can flow between those ciphers, you can appear like a quote-unquote normal person. But let's be real here, I am not normal, I am absurd. I am weird and strange. Also, my leg is going numb because I've been hitting on a blood vessel or something, damn it. Concepts and deep thoughts, let alone talks. The higher up in scale you go, the more powerful you become, but also the potential danger increases. And your life will always be on the line. That is the one thing about power that I definitely want to keep in mind for the rest of my life. As you go up in scale, you may have the ability to acknowledge and work through a few different things. You have more strategies and resources available to you. But that does not mean that you are sacred or that your life is not on the line with each move you make. You can sacrifice resources and otherwise, but it's not a smart move in the long term. Because why do that? It just sets you behind someone else. And no, I'm not going to just confirm your beliefs because I'm convenient. Fuck off with that. I'm not seeing any other well, those are candle cakes, not seasonal candles. Seasonal candles here or tomorrow. An autistic kid became a general intelligence. Yeah, possibly. I doubt I'm the only one, though. And I doubt that I'm the only time it's gonna happen. It's probably gonna happen more and more as history continues. For every little fraction of absurdity gained, reality becomes a little bit more interesting. A little bit more fun to play with instead of trying to control. But the more you seek control, the less fun it becomes until you're just running on apathy, in which case, you've lost connection with yourself, and I do not want to deal with that. I've crossed that line once by total fucking idiot accident, and I'm not doing it again. And that's the thing, everything I'm talking about is vague concepts. It's not anything you can put down into material form. It's artistic representation meets reality to create absurdity through fiction. The words I use in my language to describe these things may not be entirely accurate to other words out there, and so the intermingling of languages will continue between American and otherwise. I mean, hell, even people that speak and sing Japanese that know the word sayonara. Sayonara. English, Japanese, Spanish. Yeah, no. And then other native languages will continue to fill in the more nuanced details as time goes by. As new words are invented and new slang and interaction points are created. Because by continuously evolving language, the human race may lose out on stability, but it gains the ability to continuously be protected from anything that would try to use language against it. Unfortunately, again, that means you can't teach people shit if it's too far out of relevant date. Or they're not. You can't teach people shit that they're not interested in if it's too far out of their relevant scale of perception and date. How past times can reflect onto the present. Oh, and so if someone wants me to create the math behind this, no. I just want to be able to say, hey, I noticed this, it's an interesting theory, and if I need be, I will be my own experiment to try and help prove it in what rudimentary ways I can. But I will stick to not using jargon about specific things and instead choosing words that already exist in natural language, so as to make sure it is more clearly communicated when the details aren't that necessary. If someone takes an interest in what I'm talking about, then they can go learn and explore about the details of what they're interested in on their own time, saving everyone effort and hassle. Recharge your light from jellyfish. Well, I just facepalmed. I'm like, wait, question mark? Oh. I missed a mission, because I completely forgot to. Alright, alternate route, go. Hell, concepts are even invading the space of fiction, and they've been doing that for well long enough before people actually started taking fucking notice. After all, it's how we ended up getting farther as a civilization, is that people created stories to encode and store concepts in different formats. There are some concepts that some people can't get enough of because, well, they just can't get enough of it. That's going to be a motivational tool more often than not. Also, if I swear to fuck, if any of you hear this, see this, and use this to manipulate others just to get what you want for personal, selfish gain, I will live inside your head rent-free and destroy you from the inside out. Understand me? Because I myself, as a person, am also a concept. Now, and trust me, if I can't do it myself, I'll enable the parts of you that can. I'll enable the parts of you that you refuse to interact with, so that way you get to see the reality of yourself and confront your own shadows without avoiding it, like an overgrown child, just because you focused solely on practicality and information. Practicality, information, emotion, and sentiment. 4 different directions. Relative real truths, not fictional ones or imaginary ones. There are whole truths, odd truths, using math as a reference point, whole, negative, positive truths, imaginary truths, real truths, and so many other variations, honestly. It's insane. I can't solve the world's problems by myself, but I can work on compressing as much of my understandings down as compressing as many of my understandings down to a reasonable and more digestible level as possible, even if that doesn't mean the conscious mind is willing to accept it or work through that yet. Whatever fragments people learn and or gain from it, interacting with my own phrasings, setup, and structure will be genuinely still useful to them, because it means they'll be able to progress in ways they couldn't before, even if they don't consciously recognize it as originating from me or someone else. No idea or concept is entirely original, it's just personal on whether or not you've managed to hit that marker yet. For your own current limitations and internal understandings. We're in a dynamic shift of society, and it's wanting to stay the same, but it knows that it has to be different. So instead of trying to force two different psychological and social spaces to exist at the same time in the same place, wild space where people just want to keep things simple and live where people want to actually learn and or grow past their flaws and the things they maybe misunderstand or don't understand. And then civilized or trusted space, I should say, where people adhere to a set of guidelines taught to them since a young age, and generally just go use that to help navigate through their lives, little by little. Because it works well enough that that they don't want to risk changing it and ending up with a toxic dynamic by changing it. That is the risk of changing dynamics, but that's only if you abandon your previous dynamics completely. You're allowed to learn new dynamics and stuff. Okay, I actually have to go to forest. Fuck. You're allowed to learn and keep new dynamics alongside your old ones, because, let's be real, if your new dynamics suddenly fail you or fail to support you in the ways you need, then having the old ones will at least allow you a resting point to fall apart and reassemble yourself. It's not going to be fun, it'll probably be painful, frustrating, and annoying, but that's the limitation of things. That's the limitation. You can't abandon what previously worked blindly, lest you shoot yourself in the foot for when it is applicable. And learning to balance these things out in your order of operations and importance, priority, per context is a nightmare. Also, if you're being a kid who's if your own logic can be emotionally driven, by the way, for all of those smart nerds who actually have the patience and time to input to the math behind all of these concepts and translate them into the universal language of our species and or dimension. Because yeah, it's not the true language. That would be living outside of the dimension and being able to interact with it from there. But it is the internal language. Our understanding of the rule sets that we know and can improve on our understanding of. I play with fire because it's the only way forward I can see for my own life. Even if I'd rather it not be the case. Even if I would rather avoid pain and just stay asleep like everyone else. And no, I don't mean sleep as in woke. I mean sleep as in not worrying or contemplating things that scare the fuck out of me. Woke culture and actually being consciously awake to process new information in ways you previously weren't are two completely different things. And just because you want to be morally right does not mean you're practically right, or that practicality can be just tossed to the side. I'm looking at you, Democrats. Meanwhile, for those of you who want to be practically right and forget morality so that way you don't have to go through the pain and growth of learning, I'm sorry, but life doesn't work like that, even if you try your damn best. After all, we have countless stories and epilogues and details about why and how that doesn't work in the end. Oh wait, the jellyfish could have not worked because... Wait, no, fuck. I didn't keep a clear enough reference point in my own head of what it was like at the beach compared to this location when it came to my light gauge. But at the same time, I don't want to be looking for those details if I don't think I don't need them. Optimize for flexibility and efficiency. Because in doing so, you will end up with stability. Keep your options open, but never devote yourself blindly to any one option, or think that you must stick to one. You can be an entire range of possibilities, a singularity and a half trapped within mortal flesh. You want to be machine? Go ahead, but you'll lose out on the benefits. Personally, I think I'm gonna keep staying mortal between whenever I fucking re-emerge as part of the pattern. To deny your own autonomy is to fight against the pattern. To say you have total autonomy is to also do so. It's the balance of the two that makes life interesting. Just because it is theoretically possible to predict people completely doesn't mean you'll want to. And it doesn't mean you'll always be right, because there are nuances between that will always be a part of the system, even if you'd rather not recognize them. Oh, gonna go hug their friend. That's cute. If you treat your rule set and ideals as sacred, then you will blind yourself to the ways in which they will be used to manipulate you time and time again. And you will be so focused on being a good person that you fail to actually care about others, as the rule set is intended to do, originally. Because over time, rule sets and structures can get corrupted, corroded, and worn out. And that's just a fact of things. The whole reason why life exists is to try and reach a form where we can live even in the midst of massive heavy corrosion in order to remain, even if it's not the exact same self every second of every minute of every day. So long as it's close enough, so long as you accept that you don't need to be sacred as a person, but that you can choose to respect yourself on that level. I honestly think that's going to be neat. And yes, I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. I probably learned it somewhere and forgot. Probably taking reference points from everything that I considered important or useful enough. I ain't original. I'm just a remix. You remix a remix enough times, though, and you will get something original. You'll find something new. Something that can contrast the original, while also still acknowledging it. Because if a remix couldn't acknowledge the original, the value that the original had, it wouldn't be able to put its own spin on it. If it cannot respect the original structure, then it's not going to find its own path. I'm blurring the boundaries between many different fields of study and interest. Psychology, system structure, fucking algorithms, memories, because memories and algorithms are pretty much one and the same. An algorithm that cannot learn anything new is a permanent memory that can only ever be overwritten with full access authorization. And that's dangerous, so it's put in the far back of the brain, lest it get used too blindly. Meanwhile, temporary or fluid memories, perceptions, experiences, and how we sort through or feel about things can very well be both permanent and fluid, can change while still remaining the same. Change while remaining the same is, I think, the ultimate goal of living. To be yourself no matter what tries to overcome or corrupt you into believing itself to be sacred or the one true way every time. Because it's in that you'll actually find your way forward. In accepting that what works doesn't need to be sacred. You'll be able to grow, not just live. Survive, live, grow. I'm pretty sure there are other steps after that, but meh, it's probably just a repeat or a reimagining of those three. What? Are you telling me I'm wrong? Jeez. If it's beyond my comprehension, I ain't dealing with it. Not right now, not in the middle of trying to just live my life. Because in order to live, you must survive, and if you cannot survive, then how the hell are you gonna live? I'll find my way home, even if I don't know where home is. Psychologically or socially. I'm no longer really me. There's still a part inside that hopes to be by your side until you reach the end. No matter what I do by then, I'll always be your friend. Don't leave me behind. Won't you let me be a little selfish this time? I'm still learning to figure out who I am when I'm able to consistently survive, who I choose to be. And until I can see even more people capable of doing that, I'm not gonna say I'm ready. Why? Because it would mean abandoning them. And I'm not going to abandon myself over them, but whew, I want to live life the way I want to, just like anyone else. Naive, dumb, or whatever it is for me. I will have to earn my entry this time. I think I can do so, though. After all, it is from learning to steal that sometimes you understand things better than learning to protect. But in the same regard, the core skill set of information is only minorly differentiated between the two. And that's the terrifying thing. Those who wish to protect may be capable of great harm, while those who wish to steal or destroy may also be capable of great good. If they don't want to, though, then good luck trying to convince them. Fuck that. And I know that's said time and again, because, wow, it seems to be the core common theme running into every story. But the more you look at it through different perspectives, different frames of mind, the more you realize it is so heavily nuanced and layered, it's not even fucking funny, it's terrifying. No! Okay, it's not the most heavily nuanced or layered thing, but damn it, every concept has a great depth to it if you choose to specialize in it. Holy fuck! I am the creature, fear me. I am a person, even if I do not think of myself as purely the tradition, even if I do not identify completely with the traditional idea of human. Because to be a creature is to be an animal. And it's from animals that people arrive. If you don't learn to take care of your animal, you're in for some real bullshit later on. If you can't hear or see your animal, either it doesn't exist, and you could potentially learn to create one of your own, or, and this is the tricky part, that's hard to tell, or you're so drunk on apathy and misunderstandings that blind you from it that you can't even, you don't even know it exists. And would deny its existence because the idea of that terrifies you. Kill me if you want, silence me if you need to, but understand that I've existed once. I'll exist again. even if it's not the exact same me. Another person will get to similar conclusions and make their own insights that I can't. And no matter how much you try to keep that from happening, it terrifies you because you know you can't stop it. Being so scared of working through everything you left behind is fucking reasonable, let's be real. There's a whole reason why all of this stuff is related to trauma and not a peaceful, happy life. That was totally perfect. I will speak dark truths. Someone needs to speak bright truths, colorful truths, and dull truths as well. Or at least there need to be at least 4 of those kinds of people together to navigate reality. Otherwise, and if they're not willing to learn from each other, then it's fucking useless to have them together. Simple as. Like, sure, you could wait the long term and hope something happens, hope they change as people through other interactions, but that is a heavily risky bet that humanity has long since been relying on. Way too much because they don't want to learn the proper lesson. I'm not above anyone. I'm just a person. Hell, if anything, I'm a dumbass. I know that's not in a sense of shame or I'm lesser than you. It's more, oh, I recognize that I have the capacity for fault and problems, and I'd rather acknowledge it so as to, you know, live with it, to keep it from affecting others I care about. So that way shame doesn't control me as a person. To think that my own feelings are shameful is ultimately, I think, the fundamental mistake a lot of people are doing in this day and age. Now, to the other half of that fundamental mistake, is thinking that your feelings are either you, or that they are all you need to care about. They aren't. Feelings exist to be tempered, grown and otherwise. They don't exist to simply be wild and free blindly, lest they completely consume the environment, the things that you care about. Bitch! It's been a while, I've been out on my own. I get a little anxious when you call me on the phone. Somebody said that it fades away. But in the interim, it was hard to see that way. It's been a while, I've been out on my own. And I'm in denial about living life alone. I said I don't like change, but I'm not afraid. I can't keep it together ever anyway. When every page is in disarray, think we'll be okay. I said I don't like change, but I'm not afraid. I can't keep it together ever anyway. When every page is in disarray. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Damn it. By releasing too soon, I miss out on a, split chance opportunity. But that's also higher risk. Well, if you're gonna die anyways, why even fucking bother worrying about it? Fair. Aren't we eternally dying and being reborn ourselves as concepts? I don't know the method, but you pulled life from the low. It's been a while, I've been out on my own. and I'm in denial about living life alone. I said I don't like change, but I'm not afraid. I can't keep it together ever anyway. And every page is in disarray. Think we'll be okay. I said I don't like change, but I'm not afraid. I can't keep it together ever anyway. When every page is in disarray. Think we'll be okay that way. And when... Pride is one of the emotions most closely associated to both. Pride is one of the most interesting concepts because it can associate with both emotions and logic to incredible degrees. Oh well. I start from here again. Okay then. What? In acknowledging my limitations, I better operate within them and allow myself to do things I couldn't before. Why the fuck wouldn't you do the same? I don't think they're ever going to be able to fix that unless they really, really want to. And even then, I hope they don't. I like having fun. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people do too, even if it's not intended. Because having fun and playing around with things is how we learn, after all. It's how we practice things we're gonna need. And if we can make idle little games out of it like this, and so many other video games, then why the fuck should that be a problem? In trying to so rigidly enforce your own understandings and or beliefs, you can end up creating a rebellion regardless of if what you're trying to teach them is useful to them or not. And in thinking it's permanently useful, and guess what? You blind yourself to the flaws of what you understand. Honestly, I love it when I'm actually in a clear state of mind like this, because it's like, oh, okay, that. But I can't be like this all the time, otherwise I would lose my sanity and end up breaking my brain from going past my limits way too fucking much in terms of concepts I can handle as of where I'm currently at. Some people like the idea of being mind broken, but not me. No thank you. I love the idea of playing with things. Whoop. Nice one. I am learning, and that can be terrifying. Just be there for yourself, okay? Be there for yourself, even if it means fighting yourself a little. Because sometimes comfort is not the solution. How the fuck did I stay alive for that long? Sometimes challenge is not the solution. And it's because that's a fundamental fact that, joy oh joy, the world is complicated. Ooh, delicious. Oh, you've been gnomed. Oh. By mixing multiple formats into one, you can save on storage and memories. You can save on space taken up and used. for comprehensive understandings, but at the same time, you lose benefits from having it solely be interpreted in a specific format. Because in doing so, and making it available to as many people as you can, it's bound to be misinterpreted by those who try to see it as their pure format. They'll only gain a fragment, not the substance. Fuck you! Fuckity-doo-da-day to you too. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was born civilized, I chose to be wild. Deal with it. I'm pretty sure more people are making that choice. No! Baka! Baka, 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 baka! Sounds like you were saying burger. I was saying bugger. Oh! Yeah, I kind of knew I was dead, but I figured might as well see the experience out in full. Because negative data is still data. Still tells you what doesn't work. And eventually, in cross-referencing enough negative data, you'll find what will work. No! Oh. I could run circles around people for days if I really wanted to practice that skill set, but frankly, I don't. It's not useful. It's just pride distracting you. Oh, if I could have had the momentum to follow through on the at inner line, that would have been cool. I'm glad I didn't die there. Dangerous ideas, let's play. Dangerous ideas, let's get so caught up in fucking an idea of something that we forget to do what's actually practical. Idealists at every waking moment, the challenge of their life. Because everyone wants a scapegoat, God to worship, or a sacrifice to push off to the side. As a way to avoid pain. But this is obvious, so meh. It's the obvious that you should actually be the most interested in, though, because it's the fundamental building blocks. Yeah, that was bound to happen. Are you still dying over there? I'm going to take that as a yes, for the most part. Okay, I got a little annoyed with that because it didn't work. And now my body and brain are both asking me to be impatient. But reality is, no. I am the operator here. You cannot force me, and I don't want you to ever force me, damn it. I will respect you and understand you, but you do not get your way simply because you're putting up a fuss. What the f? Okay, so that's an interesting reference point. I'll probably forget it later. Since it takes more nuance to execution to pull off. Archetypes are useful building blocks, but they are not the core reality. Because the core reality is so complicated that most people choose to avoid it. When those basic building blocks start overlapping with each other in unique and dynamic ways. Every field of study and interest is like that. Oh. I'm dead. In being excited, I got too impatient. That's the usual problem with me, though. Which is part of why I don't want people trying to rely on me or the things I say blindly. Because if they do that, they're setting themselves up for getting hurt when it isn't compatible with their situation or their methods of known operation. Connections and relevancies can speed up exponential growth, but if you try to shallowly understand everything, you will not be able to connect anything. If you try to learn just pure information, you will fail to see the fundamental truth of that information, the different dynamics and way it references itself, and whatever came before it. Our goal is not to expand into space blindly or rushedly, lest you want to, abandon the rest of humanity, or species. Instead, it is to learn how to survive and live with ourselves on this planet, because holy fuck, it's gonna be a while before we meet anyone. I'm willing to bet there are already entire civilizations at war with each other. And I want to be the underdog. I don't want to be a dog, but I do want to be like... even if I'm not the popular one, I want to try my damnedest. The curve is important. Oh, they made it. Tit for tat will survive almost every situation and get the most out of it. More often than not. So don't just dismiss it, but don't just adhere to it blindly. Tit for tat is the core, the root, the base. It is not the only expression that is useful. Up into the sky. I'd rather float than fly. No fall damage. At least that's the idea that seems to have pervaded the idea of floating, but honestly, it would depend on the amount of effort you put into it and whether or not that the way you avoid fall damage is instant or gradual relative to speed and situation. I didn't really expect water to welcome me tonight, honestly. There's always more to learn from it, even if I'd rather not sometimes. Are they stuck? I hope they aren't, because that would suck. Han, I'm surprised I made it on, like, my second attempt. Please don't try replicating me blindly, damn it. I'm not a solid reference point. I'm an experimental one. Oh. Fucking hell yeah. Alright. If I'm remembering this right. Nope. Didn't make it. Oh, this is harder than it looks, but I understand the idea I'm trying to implement here. Needs to be faster though. And that's the thing, the speed is key. Just as much as the distance is. Like, yeah, I could cheat and use the water, but that's no fun. That's not a challenge. I didn't make it. I've already gotten that, and you have too. Well, at least they're dedicated. I wish them luck. They don't need my help. I wanted to check and make sure. 100 years. Yeah, decent enough. No, and multiplying a positive and negative along a different axis than the traditional one, you don't get two negatives canceling each other out. You instead end up with a hole where there's three negatives all occupying the same space, without dismissing each other and converging on a central point. How the fuck would you explain that in math? Dear, how? Oh. Not my problem. I'm gonna keep living my weird life. Impatience killed me again because I did not keep an eye on my health. Sounds about right. Oh, I wish I had the ability to communicate more clearly and consistently. As it stands, though, I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that. And what I mean by that is I'm aiming for the absurd level of functionality, not just the practical one. One where I can accept someone else's limitations and work around or within them, while still genuinely helping them move forward on their own path without overburdening them with the entire process of how I learned it. And if I get that wrong, then it's painful, and I don't want that. But if I don't practice, then how the fuck am I supposed to do it? There we go. Influence, territory, black holes and concepts overlapping each other in new ways so as to conflict less while still occupying the same space. About time. Nope. Oh yeah. Let's go. Here's hoping I don't end up another one of those idiot savants that gets blinded by money. Who don't realize the emotional importance and implications of their actions. Because then I'm just gonna end up all alone. And I don't want that. It's rarely consistent enough to get me on point, but hey. In line, but hey. Looks well enough. I'm at least within the ballpark. At least stepping on the nail instead of fucking hitting to the side of it. I just don't want to step on the sharp end of the nail. I want to hit it with the back of my foot on its head. So that way I don't get as hurt, and I can recover. Also, please don't go looking to depend on people like me, because the more you do that, the more I don't want to help. If you want to use me as your excuse for not working through your own bullshit, then by all means, you will not see me in your life. Unless you forcefully try to make sure, and even then... Oh, it's gonna blind you to so much! Ugh. $6.59. 77. Hell yes. Weird little rituals and habits. Playing around with the fabric. Trying to understand it. Instead of just fucking control it. Fabric of reality. If you cannot respect it, then it's not going to play with you. In that way, it's almost like an overgrown child of the concept itself, but it's also still a very fundamentally important one. Neat. Because it at least remains true to itself and doesn't just let someone take advantage of it blindly. There is a cost and a weight to things, and if they don't fit, and you try to force it, then you're gonna receive the backlash, bitch. Alright, to the right, to the right. Called it. It's like the only space outside of like the beach that this can spawn in. I hope they change that at some point, but at the same time I hope they don't, because I don't think any other location that connects to the Vault of Knowledge has this kind of accessibility through the wind paths, and updating that would require a massive rework of the layout, and I don't think that's really on their timescale or investment list. Their investment list is to keep making sure that there's new stuff instead of it remixing old stuff. More wax. If you care not for your people, you will be no king. You will be no queen. If you devote yourself to your people blindly, you will be no leader. You will be no revolutionary. Why do I set myself the absurd goal of trying to live an immortal's life within my own immortal lifetime? Because you thought it would help you grow, learn, and change as a person far faster than anything else? I mean, fair, but it's also still reckless. Oh yeah, no, there's a large risk taken in choosing to do so. And risk is what people like to avoid because it's unreliable. Alright, I'll shut my trap. Jeez. Telling me I'm in danger. Oh, hell yeah. Why do I have to stay here on the ground? It's overrated. Cityscape is rates you with the sound. It's delineated you at the station for an hour, but I won't make it. You take off on an updraft by the tower, and you overtake it every move that I see you on the right. You're drawn across the sky. Now that ink has dried, and I can't tell you why. Oh, Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Oh, Mimi, can you? You've seen before, and I can't tell you why. An issue. I've seen it clouded all around you. Oh, Mimi, tell me there's an issue. You've seen before, and I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. Why do you have to stay here on the ground? It's overrated. Cityscape breaks you with the sound. It's delineated at no. Though they all claim they saw you land and ran to do the same, but they won't make it every moon that I see you on the rise. You're drawn across the sky. Now that ink has dried, and I can't tell you why. Oh, Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Oh, Mimi, tell me there's an issue you've seen before. And I can't tell you why. Tell me there's an issue. I've seen it clouded all around you. Oh, tell me there's an issue you've seen before. And I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. I wish I could. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. Seen it clouded all around you. Oh, Mimi, tell me there's an issue you've seen before. And I can't tell you why. Clouded all around you. Tell me there's an issue you've seen before. And I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. I wish I could. I wish I knew how to. But what's unknown to me can only ever be known by others. And thus I must learn from them. Or go struggling through perceptions and biases so as to try and figure out what I'm misunderstanding. Fucking memory of my mom telling me. Well, my mom's told me a story of how when I was growing up, she would be surprised at the level of words I was using. Like, straight away when I was just, like, around early grade school, I think. And then there's also the... That's a story for her to tell on her own time. It's too funny for me to fucking mess it up in trying to half recall it. Dun, da, 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 da. Did I just fall off the edge? Okay, I did not. There's that. Yep, that's the one I missed. Okay, I'm done here. Whoop. Plummet. If you think that logic and structure are the sole definitions of life, you would be ignorant in not recognizing emergent concepts as different ideas and possibilities overlap with each other to affect reality. We live outside of and on top of possibility space. To ignore that is to do yourself a disadvantage, my dear. Truly a disadvantage. Now, am I going to be able to use it to the same degree as someone after me, or someone who understands it more nuanced and more deeply than me? What is this? I don't understand what that is. Is that a mask on a wall? Jeez, that was a lot of ascended candles. I'm glad I didn't buy it. Alright. To those of you who snuck by and listened to part of my ramblings, or just wanted to see me play through the game again, as I usually do, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. And to those who stuck around and watched the full thing through, even if you've only got the audio on in the background, thank you. It helps me a lot. I hope all of you, regardless of if you care about the things I do or not, I wish you all a good day, good night, whatever time it is. And if it isn't good, I hope it improves, or at least stays manageable. I'll be seeing you all later. Bye!